today, Market Update.
With Property Brokers, Farmland's strategic real estate partner.
Okay, welcome back. Yes, time now for our market update in terms of the rural real estate market. Of course, we do that with Property Brokers. The GM of Rural Property Brokers is Conrad Wilkshire. And Conrad, of course, we're now in another lockdown. Have you fared okay? You're a man who travels a lot. You caught in transit anywhere?
I've flown from Christchurch to Auckland to get to Palmerston North. It's probably not that good on the carbon footprint. But no, we had a big week lined up in Canterbury. We were supposed to be doing professionals breakfast at Timaru and Thursday in Ashburton and winding up in Christchurch. So unfortunately, like everybody else around the country, we're rescheduling a lot of plans and getting back to catch up with our families.
Yes, indeed. Well, look, there is some good news, though, in terms of the rural property market at the moment. And I note that you've written a piece all centred around dairy farms. And now the sales across the country over the past year have shown the biggest rebound in a decade. That's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, it is. And look, it's something we've been following in the market for a little while, but it's nothing like the end of the season review just to see compare it against prior seasons. And you have to go back to immediately post the GFC in sort of 2010 where they had about 106 sales, which is right about where we were last year at about 104. But interestingly, in this last 12 months, the level of rebound we've seen, it took 2 or 3 years for that market to really recover back in the sort of 2010s to 13s. But we've actually seen a $500 million recovery. The annual sales to 30 June above 20 hectares was 1.1 billion. So, and actually, the number of sales were actually 2.3 times up on the same time last year. So, and the good thing about that, the median price is 16% up on last year at 3.7 million for the median price for a dairy farm. They're all very healthy indicators, and certainly. We're seeing a much better match of supply and demand. There's continued supply coming forward and the demand's matching. In fact, we've seen more sales activity, concluded sales, I might add, not just listing activity, concluded sales activity through this winter than we've ever seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, really encouraging numbers there. What are you putting it down to?
Well, obviously this time last year, dairying was at a low ebb in terms of the real estate market, though the underlying commodity returns were in very strong shape. And we've spoken to before on the show, the impact of the COVID effect, the role, I suppose, the confidence and the dependence around our dairy sector and what drives export volumes. I think they're broader things, but I think also you've seen an enormous amount of debt repaid from our farming sector over the last 2 or 3 seasons, because the commodity cycle has been strong and farmers have capitalised on it and they've shown a lot of grit. And I think one thing you can take out of this last decade is that I did a long time ago, my early banking career in the early 90s, after the 80s, I often got told that farmers have the capacity to shut the gate when they have to and they can handle quite a lot of adversity. What that often means is very, very few sales, but a hell of a lot's going on behind the farm gate to manage and make ends meet. And it's been a very good example this last 10 years, big time.
You did run an investment seminar in Auckland last November, basically encouraging those considering a dairy investment opportunity to weigh it up sooner rather than later, and that would prove to be pretty prophetic advice for those that took notice.
That's right. But you've got to get it right sometime, Dom. The indicators are there for, we were staggered on the strength of the underlying returns and the profits being generated. There hadn't already been more interest this season just gone. And so when we were in November last year, we were saying, well, look, the fundamentals are strong. And we believe that the market would, essentially wake up to that. And that's exactly what happened. But however, farmers' long-term game, and if you're looking over the 5 to 10 year period from today and looking at the strength of the returns, there is more and more, and what we've been working on is providing a broader suite of solutions for investors. Where somebody owns the land and then another business entity contractually leases it, therefore giving the investor a sort of a fixed return, pretty much like you might expect with a commercial building. And that takes some of the risk away, because investors don't really want the operational risk. So that's one area of the market which is still early doors, if you like, but we really are seeing some strong signals in that area. And then the other side of obviously is that farmers themselves are well capitalised, and those who can cope with the change are taking advantage of opportunities on their doorstep to actually continue to grow their business, and as they've always done. And it's I would say the great majority of farmers have done a hell of a good job in dealing with the change in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think you're right. And just finally, your view is that the next season will actually be stronger again for dairy farm sales. So we're not going to see, a tapering off here. You think it's going to get stronger?
Well, putting myself out there again, I suppose. this is what the team, the indications from the team, our pre-season listing inquiry, the fundamentals that we spoke about last year is present today as they were then. Look, our view is that we're working with our processes to make sure we're organised to meet that demand. We are very confident that you'll see more and more sales come through this season, and probably we're not whether you'll see the median price go up 16% again this year. We're not sure about that, but I do believe it's found a level and it's reset, and off the back of that we expect to see sales come forward.
Well, that is good news indeed. Conrad Wilkshire, the General Manager of Rural at Property Brokers. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, Dom.
Rural Today Market Update.
With Property Brokers, Farmland's strategic real estate partner.